Hey guys, Cleanblade here, bringing another Pokemon TCG Online video, and today we're bringing you Mega MEWTWOOO deck profile. So let's just jump straight into the deck profile. We are running one Shaman EX, only one Shaman because we are running a Fairy engine instead of a Steel engine, which makes us have to run Fairy Garden instead of Skyfield and stuff like that. So we are just running the one Shaman EX. It takes up bench space, but it allows us to set up and accelerate a little bit more just in case if we draw into those deader hands. So that's why we're just running the one Shaman EX. Now seeing we are running Fairy engine, we do have to run double Spritzy into double Aromatisse. Now Fairy Transfer makes this deck complete, able to move those Fairy energies all around, and it just makes the deck super strong. You're able to run max potion in the deck, and you're able to retreat for free and stuff like that, and it just makes the deck so consistent and so strong once it gets to that late game position. So keep that in mind. The deck is a little bit slower, but we kind of help speed it up with our next card. So we are running 4 Xerneas with Geomancy. Geomancy is super good. It's a huge energy acceleration. Allows us to attach 2 energy to any one of our bench Pokemon. Now this is fine because we can always go back with Aromatisse and move those energies where we want them to be. Let's say we want them on a Keldeo EX for free retreat and Russian retreat. We have that. Now, we also run Xerneas because Regice is a thing, and we have to be able to contest Regice without a Lysander, because we aren't always going to have a Regice Lysander combo, if that makes sense. So, we do have the Rainbow Spear tech. Sure, you have to discard an energy, but it's better than getting walled by Regice and losing the game because of it. So, that's another reason we do run Xerneas. Now, seeing this is a Mewtwo deck, we are running 3 copies of Mewtwo EX with X-Ball. We chose the one with X-Ball because this Mewtwo hits for weakness against other Mewtwo's, unlike the Mega Mewtwo. So, it really dominates the mirror match. It makes it a very complicated mirror match. It's like the old Virizion Mewtwo days, which are very kind of odd matchups where you sometimes only attach 1 energy instead of the DCE and stuff like that, if that makes sense. So, it makes the mirror match a lot easier to handle. Plus, if they go into Mega MEWTWOOO, this guy destroys Mega MEWTWOOO because X-Ball is super strong and it hits full weakness. That's the key thing. Because when we're running the 3 Mega MEWTWOOO, this doesn't hit for weakness. Now, this provides other benefits to the deck. It hits really hard. It does 10 plus 30 damage for each energy, which means you hit things like Yveltal really hard because they like to do Dark Energy, DCE. You hit things like Seismitoad hard, Genesect hard. All those cards that like to set up a lot of energy, you just destroy them. You even hit Landorus hard. If they even attach 2 energies, you're doing 70 damage to them just for the 2 energies, if that makes sense. And that's their own energies, so in reality, you're doing another 60 on top of that 70, which is 130 damage just for 2 energies to a Landorus EX, which is absolutely huge, if that makes sense. So Mega MEWTWOOO has its own place in this deck for when it's not the mirror match. Now, we needed a little bit more support for the Mega MEWTWOOO because there's a lot of Verbank Laser in Expanded, so we are running 1 Keldeo AX with a Russian. Now, we don't run Floatstone in the deck, but that's because we do run Fairy Garden and Fairy Energy, so we don't need it. We just put a Fairy Energy on the Keldeo whenever we want a Russian retreat. Bam, done, free retreat. It's kind of like Darkrai Keldeo, if that makes sense. Just to get her out of the Hypnotoxic Laser Verbank spam that's all over Expanded right now. So yeah, you kind of really need the Keldeo to keep things going sometimes. So that's why we run the 1. Now moving on to trainers, we are running 1 Computer Search. Computer Search is super good. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have it. Probably run a dowsing machine if you guys have it. That would be the other option for Computer Search. Now we are running 2 level ball. This is just for the Spritzes or Aromatisse. I didn't want to overcommit, put 4 in because cards get prized and stuff like that, so we're just running the 2 level ball. We are also running 2 max potion in the deck. See, we are able to Fairy transfer Fairy energies off of Mega Mewtwo. We can just max potion it to full health, and it basically is like a Gardevoir that's super strong and psychic, if that makes sense, and counts energy on your Pokemon and theirs, which is really good. And yeah, max potion, good in this deck. That's all I have to say. Now, moving on, we are running 2 trainers. Now, this is just for consistency, hopefully hit supporters, all stuff like that. It helps you draw more, all that stuff. Trainers Mail is just a consistent card, and that's what this deck needs because it's a very slow-paced, late-game deck. Once you get there, you kind of win, if that makes sense. Then we're running 4 Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball just helps us dig through our deck. We are running kind of a lot of high HP Pokemon, Xerneas, Mewtwo, Keldeo, Shaman. So we do gotta run the 4 Ultra Ball. Now this also helps us grab a Aromatisse and Spritzee occasionally. But yeah, we mostly use it for our Mewtwo's and stuff like that. Then, moving on, we are running 4 VS Seekers. We take kind of a supporter role in this deck to hopefully make the deck more consistent. And I feel like it does when we're only running the 1 Shaman. Before, when I was running 2 Shaman, I cut 1 VS Seeker, and I felt like the VS Seekers were needed more than the extra Shaman. So that's why we cut down the Shaman and added the extra VS Seeker. Now, jumping into our supporter line, we are running 1 Colress, because Colress is super good in this deck. We kind of always have a big bench. Your opponents lately like to have a big bench, and so we just draw 8, 10 cards usually after turn 1 or 2 if you guys are drawing good and stuff like that. So Colress just becomes really big, and it's just super good, so that's why we're running the 1 Colress. Then we're running the 1 Hex Maniac, because we have no answers to things like Garbodor and Wobbuffet and what was I going to say now? I can't remember, but we have the answer to it now, and that's Hex Maniac. Oh, and also the counter to Safeguard, that's it. Because we run EX attackers usually, we have the counter in Hex Maniac so that we don't have to go into Xerneas and discard energies and stuff like that. So Hex Maniac, we just run the one of, shut down the abilities, and it can be really good, so that's why we run the 1 Hex Maniac. That's about it. Then we're running the 1 Lysander. Lysander's super good. It just finishes games. Kinda gotta run 1, so that's why we're running 1. Enough said. Then we're running 4N. Seeing we're a slow-paced deck, we probably would lose a Xerneas or Spritzee early on. That's 2 prizes giving up, if that makes sense. And when that happens, that means they're down to 4 prizes, we're at 6, we can end them to 4 card hands, keep ourselves at 6 cards hand, continue to set up, and that can just change the game, if that makes sense. And that's really, really good. In fairy decks, it allows your opponent to get behind, but keeping you ahead in card draw, which can be absolutely devastating. So we play off the energies on the board, which is also very strong. So that's why we're running the 4N. Then we're running 2 Pokemon Fan Club, actually. The 2 Pokemon Fan Club are just really good in the deck. It helps the deck out consistency-wise, helps us grab Keldeos and stuff like that. So Pokemon Fan Club is just amazing in this deck, and I think it's top contender for one of the better supporters in this deck, at least. Then, of course, we're running 4 Sycamores. Sycamore's just too good. You kind of have to run it. So we do, and yeah, it's just too good to pass up on. Now, moving on to our stadiums, we are running 3 Fairy Garden. Fairy Garden gives it a rush and retreat ability, free retreat, all that. We just love this card in this deck. We don't have to run Skyfield because then we'd have to make room for float stones and stuff like that. So we just run the 3 Fairy Garden, and it just makes the deck more consistent that way overall. And it also counteracts the Verbanks and stuff like that that we see come into play and all that. So Fairy Garden is just really good. For our last item card, it will be Mewtwo Spirit Link. We need this so we just don't give up our turn Mega Evolving, if that makes sense. And bam! Mega Mewtwo comes out. The next turn, doesn't end your turn, you're able to attack with it. Bam. Simple as that, I guess you could say. Then, moving on to our energies, we are running 3 DCE. We only run 3 Mewtwo, we don't need 4, if that makes sense. We don't want to be cloggy and stuff like that. We'd rather have a smooth fairy engine than a clogged DCE engine, if that makes sense. Then we're running 7 fairy energy. This is kind of a low count. A lot of people run a lot higher, maybe 8, 9, but I feel like when you already attach 1 energy to Xerneas, he's probably going to get you 4 energies on the field, and that's perfectly fine. You really don't need any more than that. And once that happens, you're probably going to have all the energy you need for the rest of the game, so that's why we're only running the 7, if that makes sense. Plus, it also fits room for other things in the deck, like the Hex Maniacs and stuff like that, so that's why we also only run the 7. Now, if you guys like this deck profile, hit the thumbs up button down below. If you didn't, let me know down in the comment section below, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time.